When I was a kid, I had this vivid memory of being locked by you in the basement. I was afraid of the dark then. I still am. You left me in the unknown. It was the first time I'd stopped running from it. And I took that moment not to look, but to exist among the thing that scared me the most. Non-existence. In the days since, I've never lived without its eye. It always knows where to find me, even the stars. The stars that are covered in it. I know I'm alone. I know I'm alone. I know I'm alone, and yet somehow I feel that I never left that basement. Somehow I feel like you let the darkness infect me. The times I feel real are when I finally close my eyes and I rest among the chaos. Why must I fight when I know I was meant to fall? And why did you leave before you gave me the key? Hello, my name is Ty Pereira. I just moved to New York, and I was fortunate enough to meet Jackson, friend of a friend sort of situation, and he was very kind enough to bring me on board this super interesting little project of his, and so I'm very excited to be doing that.
What are 3 good things about your monologue performance?
Yeah, I was telling Jackson a little bit earlier, I feel like, I am my own worst critic, so I get in my head about every little nitpicky thing, but I do have some things that I really thought I did well in the monologue. The first is, I feel like, just in my personal experience, I've found that it's not easy, but it's accessible for me to attach a piece to grief, especially when that's, like what the piece is about. I've personally experienced a lot of grief in my life and loss, and so with a monologue kind of like this, I feel like I was really in tune to some of the similar themes and emotions and feelings that I have experienced in my own personal life, and so I feel like I was able to articulate some of those through the monologue pretty well. The second thing I feel like I did well kind of goes along with some of the similar emotions of grief that I've dealt with, but that sort of frustration with the person that leaves you, whether it's intentional or not, those questions of like, those frustrations of why'd you have to go, why did it end this way, some of that just anger and aggression that isn't necessarily the fault of the person, but it's something that you experience nonetheless. So I feel like that was, again, another thing that I feel like I was really in tune with, is just some of those questions of I just, that frustration of, I wish I knew more. I wish I could have done more. I wish you would have done more. I wish, you wish all these things. And so some of the aggression that kind of comes with that, I feel like I maintained as well. And then the last thing is just in terms of like the flow of the monologue, I feel like I did a decent job with like finding like the rising and falling of the monologue, kind of where you start off in the beginning, it's more conversational, and we see that natural build to this self-actualization that the character goes through of this is the situation, and now that it's setting in and it's less familiar, it's less friendly, and now it's more, it's this deeper kind of, that's where we find the climax. It's this deeper articulation of emotion and outpouring of that love that is only expressed in those emotions that we see. And so I feel like that kind of build was something I was able to create decently well. As far as like the one thing that I would change, there are obviously some technical things I would change. I think the lighting and the sound and that sort of thing, but those are, like I said, very technical. Performance-wise, I think some of what I did was a little subtle, a little more like film TV acting, which is not a bad thing, but I feel like something raw like this piece needs a little more oomph behind it, needs a little more drive. And so just, I guess, going a little bigger in the simplest of terms, going a little bigger if I were to do this again, and just really kind of, really kind of pull some of that stuff up and let it really pour out is something I think I would change if I were to do it again next time.
Hi, my name is Jackson Pulane. I was the writer for the monologue this week, and I was so lucky to have Ty come on to act this monologue for me. He did an incredible job. And this week it was J is for Juniper. We started with Juniper, right? And we got to this man talking about grief and feeling like kind of scared and being watched by this like ever impending doom. And I think what started was I found out that Juniper oil was used as a deterrent for the evil eye. And so then I started thinking about who's being kind of tortured by this constant presence of like an evil eye. And one of the characters between all three of them that was the most tortured, I think, was Miles. I think Miles is dealing with a lot of searching for something in his life. And if you truly are searching for something, you get the sense that, the world is also searching for something. And so he started to personify this feeling of impending death that happened, that we all, struggle with, and that he believes happened, to his sister. And so that was kind of the origin of the monologue. 3 good things about the writing. 1, I think this was an incredible use of a character creating a story that informs the present. He talks about a time that he was locked in his basement and how that's still present with him today. And I think it's the best story that I've told from a character that explains his current moment. 2, I play a lot with my writing around forces that push and pull us, and whenever I referred to the it force that was like pushing and pulling Miles, the main character, I used capital letters, and I kind of acted like it was some sort of god or higher force, and I enjoyed that in the writing and the kind of background of that. And 3, I enjoyed the realization that I wrote in for the character that he starts with this place of like, I'm feeling a lot of being watched, I'm being hunted, and he's trying to calm himself down. And then through the calming, he kind of has the discovery that he's always been afraid of non-existence, and that he can't get away, and that he feels like, oh, the reason why was because you locked me in the basement. This is the story I tell because like I'm afraid of the basement, I'm afraid of all these things. Oh, you left and you never got me out. And I think that's a good realization. I thought that was written pretty okay. One bad thing about the writing. You didn't see it in the Instagram post, but in the full version, there's a part where the character repeats a phrase 3 times. I know I'm alone, I know I'm alone, I know I'm alone. And I think I like to play with like repetition of a phrase like that. I just don't think it worked. I've been trying to put it in somewhere, and it felt good to place it here, and I just don't think it worked for this monologue. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. This has been Alphabet Superset. You just watched J is for Juniper. This was the 2nd collaboration, and I'm super excited for more collaborations in the future and for you to watch all of the letters preceding this one. Thank you again for watching. You guys are incredible. Comment if you have any ideas or feelings about the piece, and let's all make bad art.